Do you think you were born a leader, or do you think you developed leadership skills along the way?
I don't think anybody is born leader.
So it is not a bunch of inherent skills or
No,
gifts
I
that you
don't
are
think
born
so.
with.
I don't think so. You pick any field, sports being the most purest form where the skills are the most paramount for somebody to become a leader or successful, or even in politics or in a business world. You are not going to be a leader because you are son of somebody or daughter of somebody, or you were born in a family who has just produced leaders. Doesn't work like that. I think nobody is a born leader. Yes, people seem to become more comfortable with the idea of being a leader based on the upbringing they have or the challenges that they've faced, but it doesn't mean that they are a born leader. Everybody has their own path to become the leader that they want to be or they can be. So I believe that yes, many people are somewhat gifted in terms of certain skill set. For example, it is a common acceptance that a certain if you have certain height, for example, or if you have certain type of voice, for example, uh, or if you know certain languages, for example, it makes it easy for you to command more respect than an average individual, right? That does not mean that they are going to be the best leader in the field. uh, you pick whether you pick soccer as a sport, whether you pick politics, you pick business. Every leader that you currently admire, including our current prime minister, is an example of pure skill set based, growth. They had to develop some of those skills. They had to continuously work on them, refine them, continue to improve them, and adjust to the new realities. So, uh, in my personal opinion, I don't think anybody is a born leader. I think everybody can be a leader. I think everybody is a leader, because the first person that you lead is yourself. If you treat yourself as, the most important team on the planet, how would you lead your life? With integrity,
Interesting.
with sincerity, with hard work. And so everybody can be a leader and is a leader. It's just you have to continuously work on it.
Work on it. So what are those, like, can you tell me 5 attributes or lessons or skills that you have learned and acquired over a period of time and that has made you a better leader?
Yeah, I mean, some I believe, I don't know if I can get to 5 because then there are endless.
Yeah, some.
But I think the first thing that you have to do as a leader is communicate. A leader's job is to be able to communicate with everybody in their team, whether it's corporate world, in politics, their party, or if it's sports team, then the team, the athletes, communicate in a way so that they are able to connect with them on an individual level, and through that communication, inspire those members on your team to work towards a common goal, and you connect in a way so that you understand them as a human being, not just as a member of your team supposed to do a particular type of activity that will help your team to achieve whatever that you want them to achieve. All those things cannot be possible without the simple act of being able to communicate. So communication is extremely important for a leader. You pick any leader who is successful, you will find that each one of them are excellent communicator, right? In their own way, right? That's number one, in my opinion. Number two, I think, almost all leaders are in some shape or form change agent. Every leader brings some sort of change in the norm, whatever the norm is, right? You think of MS Dhoni, right? The wicket keeper batsmen prior to MS Dhoni were supposed to be of certain type.
Yeah.
shorter, focus more on wicket keeping,
Yeah.
less on batting, less
Or
attacking-
leading a team.
or leading a team, right? Except probably Syed Kirmani many years
Yeah.
back, but they never became as successful as MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni,
He
yeah.
changed the norm, right? You can say Virat Kohli for that matter, fitness, right? In the cricket, you pick in the business world Dhirubhai Ambani when he how he became the leader that inspired Gandhi,
Yeah.
being the biggest
Yeah.
name when it comes to change. So leaders are supposed to be the change agent. They need to see very clearly, very early on, what needs to change for this team to unlock the potential, to achieve the goal, which is going to make this team or differentiate this team from being just good team to a great team.
To a great team.
Right? So that's number two. And then the number three, I believe, I think is you can communicate as well as you can. You can be the change agent as well as you can. Many times leaders fail because they can't remain committed to whatever that they originally either communicated or rooted to change, right? There are many political parties who came to power on the on the promise of removing the corruption, but they couldn't remain committed to that idea.
To the idea, yeah.
Right? And that's why the leadership sometimes loses the face in front of public, right? There are enormous examples like this where you will realize that it's because of the lack of commitment on leadership. Think of any dictatorship, around the world. All those dictatorship came on the promise of bringing a change in the lives of common people.
Common people, yeah.
Only to realize a few years later that they forgot that commitment to do that, right? And so I think I for the longest time, I have tried to, remember that, my role as a leader is to be able to communicate so that I can connect with people, inspire them, influence them. I see myself as a change agent so that I'm not afraid to make decisions which are going to break the norm, because I need to advance the goal of the team. But at the very core of it, I need to be committed to the idea for which I have, gathered people around me. So I think those are the three most common things I would say that leaders should look for. And I think again, none of them are rocket science in my mind. Everybody knows those things. You just have to keep yourself reminded. Now, one last thing I'll add, and I think I mentioned this early on also, is that the leader needs to be humble. You cannot lose your humility in the process. You cannot let the success get in your head and think that the people out there that you lead work for you. You work for them. And that's how, if you progress, generally will have a long-lasting success.